Hey folks, Steve here with a special YouTube video. In this video I'm going to be conducting a little bit of a YouTube experiment, or I guess a viewer experiment, in that while I'm going to continue making videos for my Great Battles of History stuff. I had just uploaded the Battle of Tanagra the other day. I'm going to continue to do that, maybe even on a separate table while I can play other stuff. I have a couple of games that I've got some interest in and I'd like to give a try. But I want to put the decision of what I play in the hands of the viewers of the channel. Now, it's sort of cheating because the games that I'm putting here on the table are by the same designer, Ted Rayceer, and are technically using the same system, the quote-unquote dark system, covering Hex Encounter World War II gameplay. And so what I'm going to do here is, between the Dark Sands and the Dark Valley, what I would like you to do is, in the comments section down below, simply leave a comment stating which of these games, Dark Sands or the Dark Valley, you would like me to play and cover on the channel. Now, that doesn't mean that the loser won't ever get covered. This is going to be more like a prioritization thing. So, which would you like to see first, the Dark Sands or the Dark Valley? And along with that comment, also tell me if you would like me to play the full campaign of either game, or if there's a specific scenario you would rather have me play just for purposes of length and all that good stuff. So I imagine most folks would want me to play the full campaign, but you know, hey, I'm going to leave my decision making out of this and leave it to you. So for instance, you might say, go ahead and do the Dark Sands and do the full campaign, or you might say do the Dark Valley and just do the first scenario that lasts 5 turns, Operation Barbarossa. If you want to, get a handle on what scenarios actually exist, you can check the PDFs of the scenario books. They're on the GMT Games website, so you can pop over there, take a look, and if you don't know. But again, I suspect I'll probably just get a lot of full campaign votes, if I get any votes at all. I guess that's the other part of the experiment. I don't know who, if anyone, is going to actually vote here. So please do, and if you want to flip a coin, then we'll do it that way. So to talk about a little bit what the difference is between the two games as to why you might care one way or the other. The Dark Sands is a game that covers the war in North Africa, 1940-1942. So this is your Rommel Fest, a relatively straightforward Hex Encounter game covering that theater of operations. The map is actually separated into 3 sections, which is across 2 map sheets, so you can sort of see, up in the upper left, it's Libya. Then we get sort of, I'm covering it a little bit, but there's a center map that continues here, and then there's a right map, and there's a little bit of scale difference on the maps just to kind of cover some empty space in a coherent manner. But, it's more or less straightforward in terms of moving between those maps and how combat's conducted. There are 17 turns in the game, and just to kind of look at counter size in terms of hexes, I'm going to zoom in a little bit and sort of preview to what's to come for the next game. Ignore the flash on the counter. I haven't rounded the corners yet, but you can see, just as a point of comparison between the two games, the hexes in the Dark Sands are a little bit bigger than the Dark Valley, and the counters are bigger, so they're going to be a little easier to just pick up and move around. I probably won't need any tweezers or anything like that, though the counters are the white core, sort of softer, lower quality counters, because this didn't get the deluxe treatment. So we could play through that, and it would probably be a pretty good time. My understanding, the game plays relatively quickly. Some guys I know had played it at a convention, and they gave sort of a thumbs up for it. So that's option 1. It is the newer game, though it hasn't gotten the most recent published release. And then its opponent here for voting is the Dark Valley, which covers the East Front of World War II, 1941 and 1945. Obviously, that is a lot more war to fight, and you can see this also has multiple maps, but they're two regular size maps attached to, I guess, I'm not sure how you would say the width or depth of the boards are connected. So you have a twice as large board here for the Dark Sands. It's also 2 maps, but they're going to be connected lengthwise. You're going to have a really long map, where this is sort of the same form factor as a regular map, just bigger, sort of, is one way to look at it. Now, for the Dark Valley, this was actually the first game in the series, but has gotten the most recent reprint. This is the deluxe version, mounted maps. The counters are brown core. They're nice and thick. I probably won't need to round the corners at all, just because the counters are in really good shape, and they punched really nice. The hexes are much smaller, and the counters are much smaller, and there are a heck of a lot more counters, just period, to this game. This is truly a big game. There's just a lot to it, and even punching and organizing the counters took me a while, and I even still need to do a little bit of organization work to make sure that when I'm done playing the game, I can put it all back together again pretty easily. So there's going to be some logistical effort put in to play this game, but it's also not just a bigger game there, but it's longer in terms of turns. There's 44 turns. I'm covering the turn track at the moment, so I couldn't tell you for certain, but it's over 40. I think it's 44. And, if you like your Germans versus Soviets, this is one big monster game to play through of that, which I think is worthwhile from the perspective of one big monster game. So, again, if we look at, the counter comparison, the counter, just an example counter, on the left there, you can see it in the Dark Sands, it's a brigade, a British brigade, and on the right, that's a Soviet corps, and go look at pictures. If you're unfamiliar with the games, go look at pictures online of a Dark Valley game setup. There's going to be a lot more to it than the Dark Sands. So those are the 2 choices. Dark Sands, Dark Valley. Again, leave a comment down below on what you would like to see. How soon I'll start actually uploading those videos will be dependent on time. And, between me starting my last video for the Battle of Tanagra in Hoplite for the Great Battles of History, it was like I started recording and then I had to take a break for 3 weeks and I could finish it. So it won't be immediate. You won't see a video on one of these right away, even after I am done counting votes. So, we'll have to, you'll have to be patient either way, but I will endeavor to get this out. And just to be fair, for the purposes of, I guess, tallying the vote properly, if today is May 3rd, I'm going to leave voting open, so to speak, until, I guess what I'll do is I'll leave it up for a week. We'll try a week and see how that goes. If I don't get a lot of responses, I'll extend the voting. So tentatively, we'll go out a week, which means basically evening of May 10th is about when I'll close up voting. So if there's any last minute voting, I'll look to include that. But that's what we'll aim for here. If we can get a few votes, and then we'll go with that. If we end up getting only one voter, then the one voter will be the decider. So we'll see how it goes. There's not a whole lot of video coverage of either of these games really at the moment. Dark Valley has a little bit from the past, being an older game. The Dark Sands doesn't have much at the moment, and so we'll build up some good coverage for folks that are interested in these games. So thank you for watching. Again, please vote, and we'll see how it goes, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.